AITA for suing my cousin for $6,000 after he ruined my hearing aids by throwing me in the pool. I, 27F, come from a family that's always put a spotlight on my cousin, Zach, 25M. Zach is your classic golden child. Charming, athletic, funny, you name it. Not to mention, he's the only boy in our generation growing up in a sea of girls. I'm not gonna lie, I've always been a little annoyed by him, but most people just find him charming. And let's not sugarcoat it. He loves being the center of attention and is a notorious prankster. It's all fun until someone actually gets hurt, or in this case, someone's expensive property gets destroyed. For the record, I've always thought Zach was an irresponsible brat. He's one of those people who think the world is his playground, and that his actions have no real consequences. He's never been malicious, but his pranks and reckless behavior have always rubbed me the wrong way. To make matters worse, he gets away with everything because, of course, everyone thinks it's just Zach being Zach. I've had hearing issues for years, which I've come to terms with. Recently, I finally invested in a pair of high-end hearing aids, and let me tell you, they're not cheap. We're talking $6,000 worth of technology. These aren't just gadgets. They're essential for me to live a normal life. With them, I can hear conversations clearly, enjoy music, and not feel isolated at family gatherings. Without them, well, I'd be stuck in a frustrating world of muffled sounds. To say they were life-changing is an understatement. Fast forward to my grandmother's birthday party. It was a typical family gathering. Loud, chaotic, and full of people. We were all hanging out on the back porch, eating, chatting, and having a good time. Grandma has a pool, and some of the younger kids were splashing around. It was your average summer family gathering. Then Zach decides to start with his antics. He was walking around, sizing people up, pretending to throw them in the pool. You know the type. Sneaking up behind people, grabbing them, pretending he was going to toss them in, but then backing off at the last second. Everyone else was laughing, but I was on high alert. I knew Zach, and I knew there was no way he'd pass up the chance to mess with me. And of course, I just got my hair done earlier that day, so I definitely didn't want to get wet. He came up behind me, and I instantly tensed. I told him very clearly, Zach, don't. I'm serious. I wasn't joking. I wasn't laughing. I wasn't playing along. My tone was stern, and I told him to put me down repeatedly. But does Zach listen? No, of course not. He thinks it's hilarious to pick me up and make a scene, despite my obvious protests. Before I know it, I'm in the air and then splash. I'm in the pool. The second I hit the water, panic set in, not because I'm afraid of water or anything, but because I knew immediately what had just happened. My hearing aids, my $6,000 hearing aids were now soaked. Water and advanced technology? Not a good mix. They were completely ruined. I could barely hear anything, and all I could think about was the cost of replacing them. When I climbed out of the pool, I was furious. I wasn't just upset about the hearing aids. I was also mad about the total lack of respect Zach had shown. He had no regard for my boundaries or my property. And when I told him what had happened, that my hearing aids were destroyed because of his little prank, he didn't even apologize. He just shrugged and said, "Oops, didn't know you had hearing aids now." That's it. No apology, no offer to help cover the cost, just a casual oops. I told him he needed to pay for them, and he flat out refused. His reasoning? I don't have the money for that. Here's where things really start to escalate. My family rallied behind Zach. Why? Because according to them, I make more money than him, and it wouldn't be fair to expect him to pay for something so expensive. Let me just say, yes, I have a decent job and make good money, but that's beside the point. The point is that he destroyed my property, and he should be responsible for replacing it. I don't care if he's struggling financially. That's not my problem. It was his actions that led to this. For the record, Zach is in college and works part-time at a call center. He and his girlfriend recently had a baby, and they're living in a small one-bedroom apartment. Yes, I get that he's not in the best financial position, but again, not my problem. If he couldn't afford to replace something that he broke, maybe he should have thought twice before throwing me in the pool. When he continued to refuse to pay for the hearing aids, I had no choice but to take him to court. It wasn't about the money for me. It was about the principle. I wasn't going to let him walk all over me like he's done to others in the past. This time, he needed to face the consequences of his actions. I won the case. The court agreed that Zach was responsible for the damage and ordered him to pay me $6,000 to cover the cost of my hearing aids. Simple, right? Not so much. Even after losing the case, Zach still refused to make any payments. So, I had to take him back to court to get his wages garnished. Now, Zach's wages are being garnished at the maximum rate, 20% of his income. It's hit him hard. He had to drop out of college, take on extra shifts, and now he's struggling even more than before. My family is furious with me. They're saying I've ruined his life, that I'm the reason he had to drop out of school, and that I'm hurting not just him, but his girlfriend and their baby as well. They think I should have just let it go, given that I make more money than him and could have easily afforded to replace the hearing aids myself. Honestly, I'm conflicted. Part of me feels bad because, yes, it's affecting his girlfriend and their child. But at the same time, Zach never once apologized or took responsibility for what he did. He acted like it was no big deal and expected me to just suck it up. If he had apologized and asked for more time to pay me back, maybe until after he finished school, I would have been open to working something out. But instead, he dug his heels in and refused to even acknowledge that he was in the wrong. So, Ada for suing my cousin and getting his wages garnished? Or was I justified in making sure he faced the consequences of his actions, even if it's causing him and his family some hardship? TLDR, my cousin threw me in the pool, ruining my $6,000 hearing aids. He refused to pay for them, so I took him to court and won. Now his wages are being garnished, and my family is mad at me because it's affecting his ability to support his girlfriend and baby. Ida?